Major support for Out to Lunch Acadiana is provided by the law firm of Jones Walker, established in 1937 with over 375 attorneys in offices throughout the U.S., providing a comprehensive range of services to a local, national, and international client base. JonesWalker.com. And by Business First Bank, with locations throughout the state, including Lafayette and Lake Charles, providing personal and commercial banking, treasury management, and wealth solution services to help clients succeed. Business First Bank, banking with greater momentum at b1bank.com. Support also comes from Wyndham Garden Lafayette.
From Pete's Family Sports Grill in Lafayette, we're out to lunch with Professor of Finance and Director of the award-winning Berken Road Reports, Peter Raschuti. It's business, Acadiana style.
Hi, I'm Peter Raschuti. Welcome to Out to Lunch. We live in a nation where we pride ourselves on individual achievement. When things go wrong for us, we look for reasons and explanations. When things go right, we put it down to our own hard work and maybe a little bit of luck. The truth is, of course, that achieving success, or sometimes just managing to get through a day, takes more than individual hard work and happenstance. Sometimes we plain and simple need help. My guests on Out to Lunch today are all people whose businesses are about helping you feel better and do better. Sue Schliefer is a life coach and career coach. Sue provides life coaching, career guidance, and management consulting services to individuals and organizations throughout Acadiana, the United States, and even beyond our borders. Sue, welcome to Out to Lunch.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's good to have you. And Alyce Morgan is the owner of Embody Zest, a unique exercise studio offering Pilates, the Franklin method, aerial yoga, Zestercise, laughter yoga, and Chee Gong. If you're wondering what all this exactly is, they're each forms of movement designed in different ways to make you feel fabulous. We'll find out all about them in just a minute. Alyce, welcome to Out to Lunch.
Thank you.
All right. If you overdo it at Alyce's studio or you're just feeling creaky, you might want to visit Anita Carrere. Anita is the owner of Abbeville Chiropractic Clinic, which is, no surprise, a chiropractic clinic in Abbeville. What might be a little surprising is that Anita can perform chiropractic on you and the horse you rode in on. Anita is one of only 6 people in Louisiana who is a certified animal chiropractor. Anita, welcome to Out to Lunch.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I think the obvious place to start here is to go around the table and have each of you explain what it is exactly that you do. Now, Sue, let's start with you. Most of us are familiar with a mental health therapist, and we're familiar with a guidance counselor or a career consultant. As I understand it, a life coach is none of that. Or maybe it's a little bit of all of them. Tell us what life coaching is, and also what kind of person goes into the career of being a life coach.
Okay, great. Well, life coach deals with helps people in the present moment rather than digging into the past like a therapist. I work primarily with people in a couple of areas. Leadership development coaching. That might be working with a leader on communication within their organization and with their staff, looking at ways to be more effective in listening to connect rather than listening to judge.
Is that people's big problem? They don't listen?
That's a big problem for people. And when that happens, people don't feel listened to. It's harder for them to be as productive in their work and to feel that there's a level of trust that builds the connections, that builds the ideas, that makes people really successful in their work. So I'll work with leaders doing leadership development coaching. I also work with individuals a lot in the areas of their career. So someone is wanting to change things up a little bit. They're not exactly sure what they want to do. We'll look at their skills and their strengths. What do they really do well? What do they enjoy doing? What are their interests? What are their values? And how to then move forward and find people and resources to help connect them in the community so that they can either develop or find a career that matches those things.
Is there an association of life coaches? Is there like a convention of life coaches? That would be wild.
There is an association of coaches. It's called the International Coach Federation. It's made up of all different kinds of coaches, executive coaches, life coaches, career coaches, and they offer a credential program, and I have a credential through that organization.
Very cool. Now, Alyce, there are plenty of different ways to work out these days, from boot camp to CrossFit. At Embody Zest, you have a very interesting range of bodywork options. Can you run through them and give us a brief explanation of each one, like Pilates, the Franklin method, which I assume is you put little spectacles on and fly kites. I think the Ben Franklin method, I believe, is what that is. The aerial yoga, Zestercise, laughter yoga, and sleeping Qigong. And maybe explain to us how we'd know which one would be right for us.
Okay. Well, Pilates, a lot of people know what Pilates is, and it's considered a core exercise. It basically works the postural muscles without stressing, your joints.
Yep.
And you also learn a lot of proper body mechanics, so that in every exercise you keep referring back to the ABCs of good body mechanics, like how do I stabilize my shoulders, or how do I, make sure that my low back is protected and things like that. So Pilates also has specific equipment that uses springs for resistance. So you're on the equipment doing exercise with resistance, but the resistance, you're pushing against it, and at the same time it's pulling you back. So your muscles are having to work both ways, which gives Pilates this very unique way compared to doing weight training for resistance.
Well, you look good, so that was I wrong about the Franklin method? Is it not tied to kites?
The Franklin method is it's named after Eric Franklin, and he's still alive and well. And
I hope so. I hate it when people come up with health ideas and drop dead. That's
and he's and he the goal of the Franklin method is to have people experience how to feel better by using imagery. So we use anatomical imagery, metaphorical imagery, mood words, and then we'll even play around with negative imagery so people can see how negative imagery affects them also. So we use simple movements and imagery to create change, like, maybe how your shoulders feel. Very simple movements that you're going to do 1,000,000 times in your life. You're not going to do, downward dogs are great, but why don't you get better at moving your spine and your shoulders, something that you have to do every day, all day,
Yeah.
So that then you're going to feel better. You're going to have more efficiency, longer shelf life.
Now, is it different strokes for different folks?
Well, when we're basically a Pilates studio, and then we offer, like Franklin Method workshops, or sometimes I'll have Franklin Method classes, and then we have the aerial yoga. If people I want to try something a little bit more challenging, and daring or whatever, they might try the aerial yoga. Zestercise is just a word that I coined because I've been teaching exercise for 20 years or more. So it's I just pull all the knowledge that I have and teach a class so that people leave with learning something about their body, having a little bit of a good, core workout, and maybe we'll throw in some laughter yoga too, so that they,
Is that just
have
a
fun.
comedian comes into the middle of the yoga class, or how does that? I can't even picture that.
I know.
How does laughter yoga work?
So laughter yoga, everyone knows how to laugh. But with laughter yoga, you don't have to have a sense of humor. You don't even have to be in a good mood.
Really?
And you're not telling jokes. You do laughter exercises, just like you would do, stretches in your other exercise. So
yes. Are these exercises that emphasize the parts of your body that you do when you're laughing?
We do a little bit of breathing and stuff, but we actually do laughter exercises where you do a little game or something, and then you laugh, and be it fake laugh or real laugh, the physiological benefits are both there. Which laughter has been shown to lower pain, so it's often used in cancer hospitals and stuff.
Yeah, I've heard all this.
And then it has the other physiological benefits are it lowers your blood pressure, lowers cortisol, which is the stress hormone, boost endorphins and serotonin. So but you have to laugh pretty much, continuously for 10 to 15 minutes. So you're doing these laughter games, and that's what I'm saying. Be it fake laughter or real laughter, you're getting the benefits. But also, it starts to warm up your laughing muscles. Then we do a laughter meditation, which is a more true laugh that just wells up from inside of you and out. And it's pretty amazing. Yeah.
I'm going to go to more comedy clubs. This is great. Now, Anita, even if we haven't been to a chiropractor ourselves, most of us kind of know what's involved. You pull a muscle or you put out your back and you go to the chiropractor, you get an adjustment and you get better. But how does it work with an animal? First of all, I mean, how does a horse or a dog get injured? How does someone know when to call a chiropractor and not the vet? And the $64,000 question, what do you do to an animal like a horse? What would you do? I'm just picturing the visuals here.
Right. The first thing is the vet and I work alongside. Okay. So you do still go to the vet first. And the vet says, instead of prescribing an anti-inflammatory or a muscle relaxer, just like people, the animals don't sometimes need to be on that. They suggest chiropractic first. So chiropractic is realigning the spine. And so dog usually jumps up and down off the sofa or in and out the bed. Or for horses, it's mainly performance. I do a lot of race horses. I do a lot of jumping horses, barrel horses. So we are making sure that everything is in perfect alignment so you and your horse can run the fastest time or run the best that the horse can. I can't make them win the race like I explained, but we want to make sure that if everything's in place, that's right. Exactly. Yeah, that's illegal. I can't give you. No, just to make sure that they have the optimal best that they can do. And so as long as everything's in place, muscles and bones work together. So if the bones are in place, the muscles won't be as tight, and it's a goes together like that.
Yeah. So now, Anita, what about do you have to knock the animal out?
No. Okay. No. And I know people don't get a visual of me, but I'm a 125-pound female, and so that's the first question. People want to know how I can adjust a huge racehorse. Thoroughbred racehorses. I've adjusted warm Dutch bloods from Holland. No, a lot of times when you actually start to help them, they stand there and they relax and they'll sigh and lick their lips. Again, the vet has checked the horse and they make sure that there's nothing broken or there's nothing else I'm not going to hurt the horse, right? And so when you start to palpate and start motioning their spine and I find a place, they let me know. Humans say ow, horses kick, dogs bite.
Oh, see, that was the part I was concerned about Anita for.
Definitely when I find the spot, they let me know. As you do maintenance, as you keep, just like humans, we recommend wellness care, right? So as I do wellness on the horse, they usually stand there. They love it. They know that they're getting their adjustment. They know they feel better after. So most of the time they don't move unless they hurt, Yesterday I went to adjust some horses and one of them nicely kicked me off my bail to let me know that the SI joint did not feel good. But after we adjusted it and put it back in place, they lick, they sigh, they shake. Dogs are so precious. They shake after you get everything. So, they let me know.
So let's say you're approaching a horse. We got something going on because you step up on the bail, which I wouldn't have done first of all, so I did. You're way ahead of me. And then you kind of massage his spine?
I say palpate. We feel the bones, right? So just like humans, y'all are usually laying on a table. I have to stand up on something to be higher than the horse.
Right.
So and they call it a bale because they took a bale of hay years ago.
Oh, it's not an actual bale.
It's not an actual bale. We're fancier than that. Somebody came up with a styrofoam block so I can carry it around. And so I stand up on my bale and the horse is standing there and I start pushing on the spine and palpating and moving, looking for restrictions, right? So am I pushing down and it's a springy feeling or is it like hitting a brick wall? That's what I'm looking for. And if I hit the brick wall, that's not normal, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm feeling for.
Now, I'm sure everybody listening is thinking of the same thing. Can me and my dog come in and both get a chiropractic session?
Well, not at my office, right?
Okay.
So my human practice, which is my day job in Abbeville, is for the human the owners, right?
Oh, yeah, right.
And so I do have a lot of patients now that I see their dogs, and it's amazing how many horse clients I've gotten because the horse is actually out of whack because the human is out of whack, right? The human's hips are off or they're putting more weight on one side.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And so when they ride, they put more weight on one side of the horse, which causes the horse to be out of alignment more on that side. So the human comes into the practice, right, in Abbeville Chiropractic, and we adjust there. And again, like I told you, I work with the veterinarian veterinarian. So I work with numerous vets around Acadiana because they have to give me permission. I work alongside with them. So at the track, I'm working with the racetrack veterinarians. I do a lot of work in Maurice at Maurice Vet Clinic with Dr. Dak Porcio. He'll check the dog. He'll say, Nita, something's out of whack. And I go in there. I adjust there. I'll go to Dr. Carson's office or Dr. Chad Richard at All Creatures. So I work with different vets. I have a horse friend. She's an equine. She travels. She does mobile equine work. So she'll call me. Dr. Brent will call me and say, this is going on with the horse. I x-rayed it. It's not broken. Can you check it and see if it's chiropractic?
Well, now, I'm getting a sense of where you get your clients from. What about Sue? Where do you get you? How do people know about you?
People find me from my website a lot. I've been writing an e-newsletter for over 10 years, and I have over 700 people on my list. And so I'll get clients from some of my readers, or they'll refer someone, a friend or a colleague, to me. They've been reading my newsletter.
Wow.
So it's referrals and through internet searches.
And what were you before you were a life coach?
Well, I've done a lot of different things.
Yeah. You said you're originally from California?
I'm originally from California. I worked for quite some time for an active travel company named Backroads, and I was a vice president there.
Yeah, I know that company, yeah.
Traveled around the world with them. I've worked in colleges as a counselor and as an academic advisor.
So these are tied.
Yeah, I have a master's in counseling psychology as well as training as a coach. So I bring in all my background into my work.
Well, now, Alyce, where do people find out about you?
I have had a Pilates studio for 20 years in Lafayette.
It was kind of before Pilates was cool.
Yeah, when people thought it was a food.
Yes, that's right. Yes, or misspelling of pirates.
Yeah. So I did have to explain it for many, many years. And at every party, people would be like, "Now, what is this?" And then I remember one year somebody said, "This is Alyce. She's a Pilates teacher." And somebody said, "Oh yeah, I know what that is." And I was like, oh, "Thank God, it's finally."
Was it slow to get to Acadiana?
No, I mean I've been doing it since '97, I could have gone, and I had gone to New York and LA, and there were lots of people there that didn't know what Pilates was. So it wasn't slow. It just so happened my ear and my friend's ear, it caught our attention, and she started getting certified. And my friend was living in Madisonville, Louisiana. So it doesn't matter where you live. It matters what you're listening for. It's like, there's lots of people in LA and New York that probably still don't know what Pilates is.
Right.
I mean, really.
We have to get to them.
Yeah.
There's now, Sue, I'm going to ask you a question, a very regional question, is there's a lot of people, frankly, in the oil field right now that are getting laid off.
It's true.
And they're having to rethink their career goals and such. Are you seeing a lot of those folks?
I personally have not seen a lot in my private practice. I have worked with them at some of the career fairs. I volunteered to help them with their resumes. And it's tough because some of them have years of experience with the company, and then they've recently gotten laid off. So they're out of the whole job hunting mode.
Everything from haven't done a resume in 10 years.
Yeah. So, when I do meet with people like that, I try to inform them about some new methods of looking for work and really helping them explore, what is it that they might want to do new and different. And sometimes
look at it as an opportunity.
It can be an opportunity to try something they've been wanting to do for years.
We've on this show had a lot of entrepreneurs that were in the oil field and just all these things. We had a guy that's become a personal chef. These things I've always wanted to try. Mm-hmm. So
I was just reading in the paper today about a couple that started a snowball business, and they're very excited about it. So I have to put in a plug for my friend Alyce, who I met through Pilates. She has changed my life.
Really, because you couldn't move or anything, and then she came and.
Well, I had a bad lower back pain, and since I've been doing Pilates and Franklin Method with Alyce, I'm a new person.
Now, Chee Gong.
Chee Gong.
Yes. Never heard of this. It sounds like a tea. It's,
well, it's the I don't teach it, but it's offered at our studio.
Oh, yeah.
But it's Qigong is the basis, basically, of all martial arts. Oh. So it's and it literally means cultivating Qi, which is that life force energy. So if you were going to a Chinese, doctor,
Right.
the first thing, and you had an ailment, the first thing they would prescribe, besides maybe some teas, are actual exercises. So Qi Gong is those exercises. Like if you want to, work on your lungs and your heart, or you're working on, your kidneys, or it's all organ based, because if the organs are functioning good, then those symptoms are going to clear
So
up.
you can feel good and then eventually kill someone.
Yeah, so
That's right, it's martial art.
So you got to have your chi, before you can then.
You don't want to go too far with this. Now, Anita, Sue, Alyce, this is the part of the show we call your brother-in-law. Really. You're sitting in the office one day, getting a bit of work done, and the phone rings. It's your brother-in-law, and he's got a question for you. So I'm going to do one of these each. I'm going to start with Anita.
Okay.
Your brother-in-law says he's thinking of quitting his job as a lawyer to go into chiropractic school. What's your advice?
Oh, I think it's a great choice. Unfortunately, there's not even enough of us, really, honestly, out there taking care of people. And the more that I feel our world's changing to preventative care, like these ladies are all doing. And so we need more chiropractors. And so my first thing would be, 1, did you do all the schoolwork that you need to do?
Right.
2, I think you should visit different chiropractic schools. There's 18 in the country. They all are slightly different, I chose to go to Parker, which is in Dallas, Texas. And at Parker's where you could specialize. Not every chiropractic, you can do different things. Sports, animals, pediatrics. So depending on your specialty, you can choose the school based on what you're interested in.
So you wouldn't say, boy, don't do this, you'll be honing in on my market share.
No, not at all. And I don't look at any other chiropractor in town as competition. In fact, most of us, even in Abbeville, are friends, and we talk to each other because what I do and what some of the other guys in town is different, right? We all have our niche, just like you ladies too. There's lots of different
I got to think you're the only one doing chihuahuas. That's what I would think.
You're right. In town, yes, you're right. That's a good point.
Now, Sue, your brother-in-law says he went to a life coach, got advice to follow his dreams and pursue his acting career, and now he's stuck in LA penniless, and the only way he can think of to make any money is to sue the life coach. What's your advice?
Oh, my goodness.
No.
Well, actually, coaches don't give advice. That's a misconception. Basically, what they do is they help people look at their life and their career in new ways. So we ask a lot of questions. We'll ask a lot of questions, how and what questions, to help the person discover for themselves, what is it I want? Where am I going? How will I get there? So I would never say to someone, you should be an actor. That wouldn't come out of my mouth.
He or she would probably come to that conclusion.
They would come to that conclusion for themselves, and then I would help them look at, what are the resources available to them? How can they develop in their acting career? Who might they talk to? What haven't they thought about before? So really open up the field for them. Help them to think about their things in a new way.
And by the way, do you talk to them about networking?
Sure.
Because it is amazing to me that you're only a couple of contacts away from getting where you want to be.
Absolutely. And people are surprised that they actually know more people than they think they do, or they know someone who knows someone. And so for people who are very social and
in Acadiana, this would be like just one connection, I think. There's everybody.
Exactly.
It's not 6 degrees of separation here. I said it's 1.2.
Now, at least your brother-in-law says he saw your ad looking for a teacher to teach laughter yoga, and he's always wanted to teach laughter yoga. He's going to quit his job at the bank and apply for this position. What do you tell him?
I don't know if there's... there's your sound. I don't know if there's people making whole careers out of leading, and we call it leading that. You lead laughter yoga. You don't teach laughter, but there is it's an international organization, and it was started by a doctor from India, Dr.
Jolly.
Madan. I think it's Madan Katara, and he always heard laughter is the best medicine. So he says, well, I want to see if this is true. And he did gather friends in the park, and they started telling jokes. But then after a few days, they ran out of jokes. And he's like, now what do we do? And he went to his wife, who was a yoga teacher, and she says, well, you're going to have to do laughter exercises. And that's how they came up with that.
All right. In the early 1600s, British poet John Donne wrote the line, "No man is an island." That simple line of poetry has survived for hundreds of years and become part of our vocabulary because it's true. Today, we need to update it to "no man or woman is an island," but we still, all of us, men and women, sometimes have a hard time reaching out for help. It's great to know that there are so many different avenues of assistance open to us right here and in all parts of Acadiana. Thanks for everything you do, making people's lives better, and thank you all for taking the time to join me on Out to Lunch today.
Thank you.
My guests on Out to Lunch today have been Sue Schliefer. She's the owner of Oak Communications Coaching and Consulting. Anita Carrere, owner of Abbeville Chiropractic Clinic. And Alyce Morgan, owner of Embody Zest. You can find out more about Sue's coaching, Anita's adjustments, and Alyce's Zest for Life by following the links on our websites, krvs.org and itsacadiana.com. Today's show was recorded live over lunch at the newly renovated Pete's on Johnson Street in Lafayette, next to Social. Pete's is a family sports bar serving an updated take on classic bar food, and Pete's stays open 7 days a week. The producer of our show is Grant Morris, our technical producer is Eric Merrill, and Christian is our researcher. Our theme song, Encore Monsieur, Nice Guy, is written by Mitch Foreman and performed by Mitch Foreman and Andre Michaud. Our Acadiana business consultants are Pete Prados from Innovate Acadiana, Zach Barker from The Opportunity Machine, and Dr. Blake Escade. If you want to know what we all look like, and I know you do, you can find photos of this show on our website and Facebook page. The photos were taken today by Gwen Aucoin. You can get the show as a podcast. You can listen to past shows. You can keep up with us on all kinds of social media by going to our websites, itsacadiana.com and krvs.org. Support for Out to Lunch Acadiana comes from Wyndham Garden Lafayette, located off Pinhook near Cali Saloon. Wyndham Garden Lafayette is family and pet friendly with free parking and free Wi-Fi. Additional support comes from ABiz Magazine and AcadianaBusiness.com, the essential information source for business decision makers throughout the One Acadiana region. Out to Lunch is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsacadiana.com and KRVS 88.7 FM. I'm Peter Raschuti. Thanks for joining me. I look forward to meeting you again next week around the lunch table for more business Acadiana style on Out to Lunch.
Major support for Out to Lunch Acadiana is provided by the law firm of Jones Walker. Established in 1937 with over 375 attorneys in offices throughout the U.S., providing a comprehensive range of services to a local, national, and international client base. JonesWalker.com. And by Business First Bank, with locations throughout the state, including Lafayette and Lake Charles, providing personal and commercial banking, treasury management, and wealth solution services to help clients succeed. Business First Bank, banking with greater momentum at b1bank.com. Support also comes from Wyndham Garden Lafayette.